Hey there, how's it going? I'm MisterBo, and we still have a ton of Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time stuff to go over. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some gameplay B-roll footage that Toys for Bob and Activision have put out. And if you're not paying close attention, there is actually quite a bit of stuff you will miss in this gameplay. We also have some screenshots to go over which are looking really nice. And we also have a load of information coming out from Toys for Bob, including 2 different modes in which you can play this game, maybe more playable characters than just Crash, Coco and Cortex, some information about those 2 new masks we saw, and much more. So on screen you're going to be seeing the gameplay running. First things first, let's go over the story for Crash 4 because it's actually pretty interesting. So it takes place after the events of Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. Now Toys for Bob are saying a couple of years after the fact. Of course, Uka Uka, Cortex and Entropy got sucked into the time prison, and since then they've been trying to work out how to get out, and they've done it. However, in doing so, they have caused rifts to different times and different dimensions to pop up all over Wumpa Island. There is a multiverse in the Crash Bandicoot universe now. Now obviously it's up to you as either Crash or Coco, and you can switch between them whenever you want to go ahead and stop them. But along with that, you'll also be able to play as Cortex in his own levels, using a complete set of different abilities to that of Crash and Coco. And we'll go over more of that in just a second. So let's take a look at this gameplay you're seeing on screen. Firstly, we are seeing some new environments. We're seeing like an ice area, which is looking very cool. There's a lot of pirate elements being shown off here, and you can see Coco here using the first mask we're going to talk about, and this is Kapuna Wa. Now she is the time mask. And when you collect these masks, you'll know because Crash or Coco will change their look depending on which mask you have equipped. Now with the time mask, you're able to slow down time, meaning you can slow down that falling ice and use them as platforms. Toys for Bob has even mentioned that you can slow down time so you can actually jump on nitro crates instead of them blowing up as soon as you touch them. Of course, it wouldn't be a Crash Bandicoot game without death animations, and they are present here as well. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of wacky and fun death animations for Crash, Coco and hopefully Cortex as well. Now we see a new location here, sort of a space station, and if you're not paying close attention, you may miss the fact that these aliens that we're going past here look pretty familiar. Here we have a screenshot of one, and as you can see, they look a hell of a lot like Oxide. I would assume that these are Gasmoxians, and we are on a Gasmoxian space station. Now we don't know if it's in the same sort of timeline as Oxide, or if even Oxide will make an appearance, but these are definitely Gasmoxians. Maybe we'll see some other locations pop up that we know from previous games. Maybe we'll see some sort of location that's similar to where Emperor Vila is from, because I don't believe it's ever been outright said that he's a Gasmoxian as well. As you can see here, we also then pick up the gravity mask. Now this mask I believe is called Ika Ika, and using this mask will flip the gravity in the level so you can walk on the ceiling to avoid obstacles, or even go and collect certain crates that you may not be able to reach otherwise. Speaking of certain crates, there are a few new crates we can see in this gameplay trailer. Firstly, there seems to be a new crate that has a golden Wumpa fruit, obviously familiar to you if you've played Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and it seems that when you hit this crate, the golden Wumpa fruit will come out, and if you collect the golden Wumpa fruit, you'll then get a bunch load of Wumpa fruits, kind of similar to the Wumpa crate, but you only have to hit it once. We'll also see another new crate a little bit later on. Here we have another brand new location. Now this one is very similar to, say, the Rustlands Megamix Mania from Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. It seems like this game is going to have an absolute ton of different locations that are going to look completely different from one another. Now this location seems to be sort of Engines area, and we don't really know if each location you're going to go to is going to have some sort of main boss to it. For instance, this place Engine, maybe the Gasmoxian station has Oxide as a boss. We'll kind of have to wait and see on that. As we progress through, we can see Coco making her way down these sort of conveyor belts, and at the bottom you'll notice there is a brand new crate again. This time it has a sort of glowing orange ring on it. I'm not entirely sure what that means, whether it unlocks something in the level or perhaps it blows up. When she hits it, nothing really happens, so I'm not entirely sure. Now this is a section where if you're not paying close attention, you'll miss it. So as Crash gets to this section here, you will notice at the bottom of the screen we see our first indication that yes, gem roots are coming back. We can see the purple gem down there. Obviously, crystals and gems are a big part of the original games, and it would be a shame if we didn't get gem roots back, so no need to worry on that. We don't know though if we're going to be getting death roots. That would be something cool to see return from those previous games. We also see some brand new gameplay mechanics here. So Toys for Bob have confirmed there are going to be sort of 3 brand new ways to play. Firstly, wall running, which we saw earlier on in the gameplay, using a rope to swing, which again we saw earlier on in the gameplay, and then sliding along different rails. And it seems like when you slide along rails, you can either go down below to avoid objects or go on top to try and hit more crates. Finally, it ends the gameplay showing off a brand new enemy, seems to be some sort of henchman of Engine, and then of course another death animation. So let's go over some extra information, including different game modes. So Toys for Bob have confirmed there are going to be 2 different ways you can play through this game. So the first one is Modern. Now if you find the Crash Bandicoot games a little bit hard, then you can switch to this mode. So basically what it does is it gets rid of lives. You no longer have lives. Every time you collect 100 Wumpa Fruits, you don't get a life. Instead, whenever you die, you always return to the checkpoint. However, if you don't like that, you can play the Retro mode. Now the Retro mode will mean that every time you collect 100 Wumpa Fruit, you get a life. Obviously, if you die and you have a life left, you'll go back to the checkpoint. But if you run out of lives and you die, you have to start the level from the beginning again. I think this is a neat addition, and it's definitely something that I think a lot of people would like to see on some of those harder levels. Now, because of the change with the modern mode not giving you lives for Wumpa Fruit, they've actually introduced a new reason for Wumpa Fruit, and that is a new goal. If you collect all the Wumpa Fruit at the end, you'll get sort of an achievement, similar to how you had to collect all the crates in the previous games. Now, of course, we didn't get any gameplay of Cortex here. We got a brief glimpse of him in the original reveal trailer, but it also seems like we're going to be able to play as some other characters as well. Now, Toys for Bob have said they were sort of teasing more playable characters with Cortex today, which to me means we're probably getting more playable characters in the full game. Now, as to who those are, we don't really know. Could it be someone like Nina? Could it be Entropy? Could it be Dingo Doll? Could it be Engine? We don't know. It's probably going to be a villain, unless we get the introduction of Crunch into this game. I think a lot of people would be happy to see him make a return, and I'm sure Toys for Bob really knows who people want to see in this game, and I'm sure they're going to be in here. Of course, with a multiverse, we can bring back pretty much any character from the Crash Bandicoot universe. Hey, bring in some of the Nitro Kart bosses, why not? Now, of course, the main big thing is this game comes out in October. Now, there are some conflicting things at the moment. So some of the stuff actually says this game comes out on October 9th, like which was leaked last Friday. The interview with Toys for Bob that I watched said October 9th as well. But then when we got the reveal at the Summer Game Fest and even this gameplay here, it says October 2nd. On the Xbox store, it says October 2nd. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Maybe it's a regional thing and certain regions get the game a little bit earlier. I'm not entirely sure, but as soon as I know official confirmation, I'll be sure to let you guys know. For the moment though, I would take it as October 2nd, so just over 3 months to go. Of course, if you get this game digitally, you'll also get your hands on the totally tubular skins, which are a nice little set of retro skins for Crash and Coco. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought of the gameplay in the comments below. What do you think of them adding 2 different game modes, one making it a little bit easier for people? Who do you think you're going to be able to play as along with Cortex, Crash and Coco? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to click that like button because it helps spread this video to more people. If you aren't already, then subscribe because I'm going to be covering everything that comes out about Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, leading up to the launch in October. And of course, when the game comes out, you can expect playthroughs, guides, and all of that good stuff. Now, if you'd like to keep up to date with myself, you can follow me over on Twitter at @IamMisterBo. Link to that in the description below. And also feel free to join our Discord server. We're about 350 members strong over there. We talk about Crash, Spyro, and a bunch of other games. It would be awesome to see you over there. Apart from that though, thank you very much for hanging out and for watching. I do really appreciate it. And as always, take care. Bye bye.